for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none. God's looking for good men. Prerequisites for being a good father is being a good man first. Functioning as a man, taking responsibility as a man, thinking like a man, acting like a man, working like a man. All these are prerequisites to being a good father. You can't be a good father unless you're a good man. But I'm sad to report to you that in the world today, it's a dying art. Not all fathers, but in the world, it's a dying art. There are not many in our nation anymore that we can consider good dads, and a lot of homes don't have dads. Let me tell you, I know how it is to grow up in a home with no dad. Oh, I had an uncle, but you can't replace your dad. And I was mad at my dad because of the way he treated me. I got over it. But thank God there are a few good men left. And I think we got a bunch of them here in our church. I want to help you ladies this morning on Father's Day too a little bit. Men don't always say what they mean. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to translate for you for your future benefits, ladies, if I can. Well, let me just give you an example. When a man says it would take too long to explain, honey, he means I have no idea how it works. I'm just letting you in on it now, ladies. When men say, take a break, honey, you're working too hard, he means I can't hear the game over the vacuum cleaner. When a man says, that's interesting, dear, he means, are you still talking?
Amen.
When a man says it's a guy thing, he means there's no rational thought pattern connected with this, and you have no chance at all of making it logical. Don't even try. When a man says, ladies, can I help you with dinner? He means, why isn't it ready yet? That's what he really means. When a man says, sure, honey, or yes, dear, he means absolutely nothing. It's a conditioned response he always uses. When a man says, honey, you know how bad my memory is, he means I can remember the theme song to Hogan's Heroes and the phone number of my first girl I ever went with, but I can't remember what you just said. When a man says, oh, don't fuss, I just cut myself, it's no big deal, he means I have probably severed a limb. And I will probably bleed to death before I admit I'm hurt. So get over here and help me quick, honey. When a man says to you, ladies, I can't find it, he means it didn't fall right into an outstretched hand. So I'm completely clueless of what's going on.
Amen.
When a man says, don't worry about it, honey, I heard you, he means I haven't the foggiest clue what you just said, and I'm hoping desperately that I can fake it well enough so that you not spend the next 3 days yelling at me. When a man says, you know I could never love anyone else, he means I'm used to the way you yell at me and realize it won't get any worse than this, man. When a man says, honey, you look terrific, he means, oh, please don't try one more outfit on. You'll be late. I'm getting ready to go. When a man says, I'm not lost, I know exactly where I'm at, he means no one will ever see us alive again. When a man says, I don't think I can go today, he means it's not a sport. And no, I'm never going to think of it that way either. When a man says, I don't remember saying that, it's just because he means anything I may have said 6 months ago is inadmissible in an argument. In fact, all past comments become null and void after 7 days. And when a man says, that's not what I meant, he means if something I said can be interpreted 2 ways, and one of the ways makes you sad or angry, I meant the other one. If your husband says, ladies, honey, what color is this? He means all men see in only 16 colors, like Windows default settings. Peach, for example, is a fruit, not a color. Pumpkin is also a fruit, and I have no idea what tripe is. We're looking for some good men, aren't we, ladies? And we got some. If you've had one 55 years, he must be a keeper for Sister Fox. 55 years, that's, oh, I can't believe it. You know what a good man needs to do? He needs to learn to lean on the Lord. That'll salvage a lot of his problems. That'll help him fix a lot of his needs if he'll just learn to lean on the Lord. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not on thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him. He will direct your path. Learn to lean on him for your salvation, your strength. There's just so much I could say about that. Number 2, men have to learn to lead. We need men who have learned to do that. We need some leaders in our houses. Not bosses. Not bosses. And not to look at our wife and say, well, she doesn't have as much sense as we do. She does. In some cases, more. Amen. But we need to lead our family. We don't need to be a dictator. We need to lead them. In Galatians 5, 16 and 17, this I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary one to another, so that you cannot do the things that you would. Be the leader in your home, fellas. Now, you can't just lead in some areas. First of all, you need to lead spiritually. Amen? Spiritually. One of the best ways to do that, and you all have a lot going for you there, is lead spiritually, come to church. Set the example. We're going to church. Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. There's no comment, no decisions needed. We all know what we're going to do. That's the way it is. That's it. We're going to church. I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not that Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now have in the flesh, I live in the flesh of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. You need Jesus, fellas. To be the leader that you need to be, you need Jesus in your heart. I wasn't much of a husband, wasn't much of a dad before I got saved. Thank God I got saved before my kids, Garrett and Judy, ever really knew what a good dad was or what a bad dad was. They were too small. But Marcus has known what a good dad is and what a bad dad is. And I've always been the best. I've made some real mistakes. You know, you only get one shot at rearing your children. When you make a mistake, you've made it. All you can do is say, I'm sorry. I have made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll try not to do it again. That's the mark of a good leader. Amen. You can't always be right, although I think I am. I mean, I like to think I'm always right. But I know that sometimes I'm not. And I've got to realize that. To be a good leader in my family, I've got to realize that I'm not always right. Now when I am, and Sister Long admits it, I make her mark it up on the wall. Here, just yesterday or the day before, she said, honey, you were right. I said, mark that one up. Right there. Mark it up. I'm not right all the time, but I want to be right a lot of the time. I've learned, since I've been saved, I learned from Brother Truman Messer how to lead. I learned from other pastors how to lead. I learned from some pastors that I served under how not to do it. How not to do it. You know, we don't practice this as much as we used to, but I like to take my wife out on a date. I still take her out. Take her out to eat. She likes to go out to eat. I don't like to go out to eat much because I go out to eat all the time. You know, everybody comes by and says, Pastor, let's go to lunch. Well, you'd think that'd be good, you know, if you're not getting to go to lunch much, but after a while, the old restaurant food tastes all the same. I just like to go over to Brother Ed's and eat a big old steak once in a while. Ooh! Man, he can fix them steaks. Man, why? Don't take me out, Brother Ed, just invite me over. Man, why? And some of the rest of you, holy cow, you make good stuff. I like it. Some of that's taught me how to lead pretty good, but you know, mostly it's been the Lord. Mostly it's been the Lord. You need to lead your family for sure. Not just your wife, you need to help her. You need to take the load off of her. Fellas, you need to take the load off. You know, we first got married for a while. Sister Long, she was in business before we got married, so she knew business. And when we got married, I just let her take care of everything. Take care of the kids, take care of the checkbook, take care of the house, take care of everything. That's pretty easy for me. I just come in and sit down in the recliner and get me a big old glass of tea and belch and bourbon and enjoy life. When we got in Christian work and pay was a little different, she's just making her a nervous wreck. She said there just isn't enough money. There's more month every month than money. Now, not now, but when we first got into the ministry. And so I said, well, let me have it. Man, I wish I hadn't took it from her. But I don't want to burden her with that kind of stuff. And you know, we just had the thing here the other evening of what you need to write down. I hope many of you took that to heart. Maybe you didn't get the list from Sister Hughes, but man, you took what I said to heart, because one of these days you're going to die. All of us are going to die. It's appointed for man once to die, and after that, the judgment, the Bible says. And we know unless Jesus comes back, and then forget the list. If Jesus comes back, but if your mate dies before you, you need to know what to do and how to do it. I'm not going to preach that this morning. The family has to have a head. Anything with two heads is a freak. Would you agree? Now, you can have an equal, but if you have a husband, if you have a man in the house, he needs to lead. Now, if he won't, ladies, hey, are you listening? If he won't, ladies, you're going to have to. If he won't, you're going to have to. God's going to hold you accountable if you don't, ladies. I'm just talking to the men here that you need to lead your family. Your wife, you need to help her. Hey, let me just put this in. It's not in my notes. But if your wife works outside the home, then fella, you need to do 50% of the stuff in the house. At least. I mean, she's got a full-time job outside. You got a full-time job outside. She's got a full-time job inside. You need to help her. It's not my notes. Number 3, we need to have men who have learned to love. And we need to have men who have learned to say, I love you. Well, she don't need to hear it all. She knows I love her. I told her in 1972. I know. That's what I'm talking about. You need to tell her. But more than telling her, you need to show her you love her. Man, my wife made a nice supper last night, and I showed her I loved her. I ate every bit of it. You know what I mean. You need to tell her thank you when she does all that for you. I'm the biggest baby there is when I get sick. I don't care. I am. I want her to come with a rag and wipe my forehead and tell me how sorry she is to see me so sick. I'm just a big old baby. But I can't, do that all the time. I can't try to be sick all the time. I can't expect her to come and make over me all the time. Have you ever seen a couple, they just have to be touching each other all the time? All the time, all the time, all the time. Well, that's okay, but run the vacuum together. Do the wash together. Or do the wash, whichever. If you're from here, you do the wash. If you're from where I'm from, you do the wash. Men have to learn to love, don't they? You need to learn that. You need to tell her you love her. Well, she never tells me. It doesn't matter. You don't know how she treats me. It doesn't matter. You're supposed to be the leader of your house. You're supposed to set the example. You do what you're supposed to do, and just maybe she might one of these days. But if you never do what you're supposed to do, she will never do what she's supposed to do, because she has nobody to set the example. And neither will your kids. I don't know why my kids are the way they are. Well, take a look. It could be they're patterning right after you. You ever think of that? Pastor Gary, he's a mess. He's a mess. I mean, he's got a sense of humor that won't quit. But guess where he got it? I have to take the blame. Now I've calmed down a little bit because I'm older. He may never calm down. He may have got a double dose when he got born. I don't know. Men need to learn to love. Number 4, I thank God for some good men He has given us, aren't you? Don't you? I thank God for good men He's given us here in our church. Now, we're not perfect, fellas. We're not going to be perfect till we get to heaven. But we can keep working on it, keep trying to be a better father, keep trying to be a better husband, keep trying to do better. And you know the neat thing about the Lord and how He works? You can start today. You say, man, I've been a failure, I've been a flop, I've not been the good dad, I've not been the good husband. Hey, you can start today and be the good one. Amen. You don't have to do anything, just begin. Amen. Just begin. I sought for a man among them that they should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none. I'm glad God found some good men in our church. Aren't you? And you know what? If they would just learn to love just a little more and show it. There's nothing wrong with learning to love your sons, fellas. I mean, daughters are easy to love. They're easy to hug. And I know the guys, they don't like to hug and stuff, but there's some way you can show your love to your sons. You know? Some of you have already done that today. Happy Father's Day. Maybe they gave you a card, or maybe they gave you just a smile or a big kiss or something. Hey, you don't have to spend a lot of money on Father's Day to say, I love you. It's just being there for them. I'm talking about you being there for your dad, for your husband. Do the best you can. It may not be working just like you'd like to right now. Things may not be working, operating, and doing just like you'd like it to. Maybe things aren't good at the job. Maybe things aren't good with the kids. Maybe things aren't good with you. You know how many changes Sister Long and I have had to make since she's gotten so sick? With arthritis and all the stuff she has wrong. What am I going to do? Am I going to just, I kid with her. I'll tell her I want to trade you in. Just kidding. But I'm not. She's a keeper. She's like Sister Fox. Not for me, but Sister Fox and her brother Fox. Don't start no rumors. You know what I meant. Sometimes you have to change a little bit. Sometimes you have to do a little something different. Hey, isn't Isn't that what love's all about? Isn't that what being a good dad and a good husband is all about? And by the way, you're not going to get away with, well, saying I'm a good dad, but for the husband part, forget it. No, you can't do that. You're not a good husband, you're not going to be a good father.
That's right.
It's going to show, and your kid's going to pick it up. I think that Pastor Gary and some of the ones that work with teenagers have told you, kids can just be brutally honest sometimes.
Absolutely.
I asked a young teenager one day, several years ago, I said, where's your mom and dad? I said, they just didn't want to come. Oh, okay. I don't want any more information. I was in junior church years ago back in Kansas. A little girl come up and said, would you pray for my mama? I had no idea. Sure, I'll pray for her mama. She said, we had a different daddy to stay all night last night, but it wasn't my daddy. I didn't want to know that. Her daddy, they were in church with us. Her daddy was out of town working. They had a new daddy. I think it's what she said. We had a new daddy last night. He stayed all night. My daddy wasn't home. How do you respond to that? But kids can be brutally honest. You know why? They just see how you are. That's why you need to be right. That's why you need to be the good example, Dad. That's why you need to live up to what you should be doing. Amen? Man, some of you short on amens this morning. We need some men who have learned to lead. Learn to lead. Well, I've got a lot more points I could make and say a lot more things, but I think that'll be it. No? If something's bothering you this morning, dads, that's who I'm preaching to. Had a little fun with the ladies and how they ought to take you, but I was just having fun. But if your heart's not right, Dad, husband, it's not going to be right at home. It's not going to work. You can keep faking it if you want to, but things aren't going to work right at home. When I get out of sorts, you say, Pastor, do you get out of sorts? I do. Sometimes people can make me so mad. I just want to slap them. And I go home, I'm not the best husband. When the kids were home, I wasn't the best dad. Some days, you just have days like that. Or if somebody comes to my office and just gives me the whole load, you know what I mean? Good. I don't want to hear it, but I'm pastor. That was the neat thing when I was associate pastor. I'd say, I don't know anything about you. I'd talk to pastor. Well, when I got here, first person to come in the door, just like an old setting hen, I started to say, I said, I am the pastor. It wasn't easy, but you need to lead. You need to lead in the church. You need to lead in the home. Dad, the Lord's looking for a few good men. I know He's found some in our church. But if it's not right with you and the Lord this morning, if things aren't where they ought to be, make all kinds of excuses if you want to. But it's going to be rough until you get things right. You say, I would to God, I've never heard this. Well, you have. And you mark it down. It's going to be rough until you get things right. Think about it. Speaking to the men this morning, but the ladies can slide in on the shirt tail. Things aren't right in your life. You have responsibility too. Let's stand together.